It's time for the Kansas City Prime Rib Roast. 18,000 of these have been ordered since midnight last night, and over 6,000 in this show. When we cut into this and you see right away that gorgeous, gorgeous prime rib, let's just pull that away and show you a lovely, lovely, juicy, gorgeous prime rib ready for you and your family. Now, you told us you wanted sizes, and we delivered, and you are responding in a big, big way. And you also told us you wanted ship weeks. We responded with ship weeks, and you are buying them up left, right, and sideways. Right now, we still have every choice in every ship week. But don't expect that to continue as we get into the afternoon and evening hours on QVC, because we have a finite number of prime ribs that can ship every ship week in the various sizes. When we sell out of anything, we will put that sellout sign on the screen, and we will go on to other choices that are still available. Don't miss out on this. We're talking about a center of the table holiday tradition. Chef Ralph Pallarino is joining us to talk to us about Kansas City Steak Company. This brand has been on QVC for 27 years.
I know, it's such a tradition, right? When you think of Kansas City Steak Company, you know it's consistent, and you're going to get that wow factor from your friends.
Oh, so and it's what I love. And you saw me order my prime rib roast earlier in the show to ship to my mom's house for Christmas time. This is the only prime rib today special value we're going to do for the rest of the year. And if you're looking for the holiday prime rib, you are staring at it. Oh. This is simple and easy to prepare. The only tool you're going to need is a sharp knife, but before that, an internal meat thermometer. If you don't have an internal meat thermometer, we have some available on QVC.com.
Yeah.
So that works out very nicely. Talk to us about the prime rib, because this is a very juicy cut of meat.
Yeah, so they call it the king of steak. So this is where we cut those ribeyes from. So if you're familiar with a ribeye, and ribeye is your jam, this is going to eat so well. So a prime rib is a roast, right? And what happens is it's so heavily marbled because it comes from a very underutilized piece of meat on the kettle, just like a filet mignon. But different than the filet mignon, this has far more flavor, far more richness, far more butteriness, and it's protected. It's protected, David, by a little bit of fat on top, right? And that beautiful decal that we always talk about that surrounds it, that little bit of a fat cap. Not only does it protect it, David, but it actually bastes it. This is like, I think, the only roast that self-bastes itself, which takes the guesswork out of a prime rib.
So when you roast it fat cap up, because you want that fat to caramelize, but you also want it to render down and bathe the meat in all that flavor.
Yeah.
Now, we have sizes, because you told us you wanted sizes, and we responded in a big, big way. So I want you to note the serving sizes. So in the smallest of the three, and we're shipping these either, grab my cards.
Yep, you got.
Ooh, a lot of cards. All right, we're shipping 10-9, 11-6, or 12-4. Now, if you want the 3.5 to 4 pound roast, that's going to serve 6 to 8 people. Okay. The medium size is a 4.5 to 5 pound roast, serving 8 to 10 people. The Mac Daddy, the one that I ordered earlier and had shipped to my mom's house in December, is the 5.5 to 6 pound roast, serving 10 to 12 people. It's important to know we're going to ship this either the week of October the 9th, November the 6th, or December the 4th. We can also do auto delivery and give you a total of 3 shipments. Your first shipment will come holiday. Your second shipment will come in March of next year in time for Easter.
Like that. And
your third shipment will come in November of next year in time for Thanksgiving.
Ooh, okay.
The most important thing is choose what size is going to feed the number of people you're feeding this year, and we can hook you up. This will also come with a packet of prime rib steak seasoning. So you're going to have some instant seasoning to put on this, and Ralph will go through the cooking method in just a moment. But first, let's talk more about the roast and how it's going to feed everyone at the dinner table.
Okay, so you mentioned how many people it serves, and that's based on 8-ounce portions.
Huge.
Huge portions. So again, you probably could stretch these out a little bit longer if you go with smaller portions.
Right.
Okay, so what I have here is, we'll call it the medium size, or the 4.5 to 5 pound, which serves 8 to 10. Now, I just want everyone, before I cut into this, look at that beautiful roast. Now, you would think that, did we sear this, David? No.
It'd be a fair question.
It's a very fair question, because I would say, and you said this to me, like, Ralph, do you sear this first? No searing, no butter, no oil whatsoever. It just has enough fat.
That happens in the oven.
This happens in the oven naturally. It hits that 375-degree oven, and look at it. I'm going to hook you up. Look at that. That is meat candy right on the board. Let me put that right in front here because people need to see it.
Well,
because what makes a good steak, David, is that is a crusty exterior and then a subtle, juicy interior protected by that crust.
Oh.
Right?
So good.
Okay. So again, nothing. We didn't do anything this other than put it in the oven. So if you're not a chef, you're ready to go.
Let's talk through how to prepare it.
Okay, and then we'll come back to this one. I think it's resting. Okay.
I'll have another piece of meat candy. All right.
Okay, you ready? Okay.
Now, when it arrives to you, it arrives in this box, rock hard frozen.
Frozen. You got it.
Now, what you're going to want to do is take this out of the freezer, put it in the bottom of your fridge. You can take this outer plastic covering off because there's a plastic covering on the inside of the roast.
Correct.
Won't make a mess in your fridge.
Right.
How long should this defrost in the refrigerator?
Right, about 3 days.
3 days.
We like to naturally let it defrost. Now, the day of, you're going to take it out of that plastic wrapping David was talking about. You're going to see a couple things. One is that netting, right? That netting ensures even cooking, so you don't have to mess with this in the oven because maybe you're fearful that it's not going to be medium rare, medium all over the place. So that's number one. Number two is you notice the fat. This is the fat side up, okay? This is going to baste that roast. It's also going to give that meat candy that Dave was just kind of having a little taste of.
Yeah.
So again, very easy. Now, bring it to room temperature. Put the oven on at 375.
When you say bring it to room temperature, you mean bring the roast to room temperature?
Correct.
And preheat your oven to 325?
375.
375.
Right.
Okay. Do I season before I put it in?
You can. I like to season it with the seasoning we're getting. Rub it, which if you just want salt, pepper, whatever you want. But this combination, salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic.
Love.
And it helps with the crust too, by the way. Again, no butter, no oil, nothing. Okay. So now you take this beautiful prime rib roast and you come over to the oven.
Now you put this on a cooking rack in a sheet pan. If you don't have a roasting rack, I many times will use a cooling rack that I put my cookies on.
That's what I use.
And I put it on top of a sheet pan and it elevates it a bit.
Yeah, because then it kind of like the heat goes on the bottom, the top, all the way around. So now we take this, we put it in the oven. An hour and a half later, you're going to grab the meat thermometer that you were talking about and put it in the middle. When it registers about 128, 125, you're going to take it out, put a little tinfoil on it, let it rest for 30 minutes.
Yum.
It's going to go up about 10 degrees in temperature. At that point, it's going to be a perfect medium rare. Now, what I say is 20 minutes per pound for medium rare, 30 minutes per pound for medium well. And then you take that netting off and you just start slicing. Whether you want to do it at the table because it's kind of a great presentation.
Oh, it's so impressive.
And at this point, you're not stressed out because you really didn't do anything. Now, they don't need to know that, right? But this is the point where you just carve it up and you ask people, how big of a slice would you like? And they tell you, and then you're ready to go. And then you just sit down and can enjoy a glass of wine with your family, and that's it.
I mean, we've got portions over on the table.
Yeah.
Those are easily 8 ounces.
Easily 8 ounces.
Easily 8 ounces. And just beautiful. Are you going to cut this one or are we going back across the leg?
We'll go the smaller one. Okay, so this one is a 3.5 to 4.
All right.
This feeds 6 to 8. I just want everyone to kind of look at that. Now, again, very approachable, right? When I look at this, I don't get intimidated, do you?
No, and it helps you maintain control in the kitchen on what could be a very stressful day.
Yeah,
right?
so now you have it on the board, sharp knife, right? I like to use a fork because you want to hold that roast in place.
Yes,
very
sir.
important. And then just make very, very easy kind of cutting motions, right? You
nice
don't want,
sharp knife.
Nice sharp knife, and take your time, right? And then you just take your time, go over here, and then just let that knife do the work. And look at there. You get a beautiful piece just like that. And then you go over and you plate it. Do everything nice and slow. Okay?
But look at what's left behind.
And
look
what's
how
inside.
juicy.
Okay.
Look how perfect.
Perfect, medium rare. And by the way, sometimes I like to let these sit because listen, life happens, right? You have small kids. Maybe you want to eat at 1:30, but now it's like 1:45, 2 o'clock, and you're like, oh my gosh, I let that roast sit over an hour. Guess what? Because of that heavily marbled meat, it's not going to dry out. You're still going to be in good shape.
I tell you what, and there is a part of this prime rib that you're going to want to pay special attention to, the decal. Now, you've heard us say before with prime or with ribeye steaks, always enjoy the decal. That's that little patch of steak that is extra tender. The same thing is true here because the ribeyes come from the prime rib roast.
That's correct. So the decal really is like an amplified, juicy piece of meat. Okay, that just has this beefiness in it. And I also say it protects the eye of the roast. It's protected because that fat and then the decal protect it, but it also gives it a lot of flavor. It's giving it flavor. You want some of that?
Well, I was just going to go down here and grab this piece, and then we can just cut the decal right off the edge.
All right, let's do that for you. Okay.
That way you don't have to...
There's some people that I think go to restaurants. Some restaurants only have the decal. Like you can order the decal.
Order the decal.
Just give me the decal.
so good.
Isn't that great?
It's so tender. It's so juicy. It's so perfect. And you don't have to be an accomplished chef to pull this off.
No.
On a day when it's a little stressful and you're trying to get all the food hot to the table at the same time, this is going to be your dream centerpiece because it is so easy to cook. There are little cards there, yes?
Yeah. Okay, so each one comes with these cards, and we have a bigger one blown up over there. You want to grab that one. And this is going to walk you through everything me and you just talked about. It'll give you the times, because I think when you're planning a holiday dinner, timing is so important.
Well, it's so important because it's the difference between everyone eating a hot meal at once or everyone eating something that is a little room temperature.
Yeah, I'm hot. I need when I'm serving people, I want it hot. So I love this kind of chart because I could time everything. Because let's face it, you have potatoes. So when the prime rib is cooking, you put the potatoes in the oven, boil the water for the string beans, and you have all these wonderful sides that QVC has to offer. So, I mean, you're ready to go from frozen.
Well, the St. Clair side just sold out.
I
heard. very, but we have others. So definitely pick up what you need today. And let me also tell you that we are incredibly busy. There are so many people that are making their choice now, and over 7,000 ordered in this show alone. Many of you are trying to lock down your prime rib. Remember, as we get closer to the holidays, the cost of beef will only go up. We're going to help you control that, particularly with auto delivery.
Yeah.
And we're going to help you lock in your price today, even though these aren't shipping until October, November, December.
Yeah. And David, what do you think some of the perceptions are of a prime rib? What do you think people think of a prime rib? It's difficult to cook. I think we spelled that out. Complicated, unapproachable. I don't want to screw it up. What I love about this is, first of all, the Kansas City product, it's grass-fed and then finished off with corn. That just gives you that beautifully marbled. And I love how we trim this, right? So you're not trimming, you're not bringing out your knife and playing butcher. You're simply taking this and putting it in the oven.
Now, Ralph, I need to let everyone know that if they're after that large roast, the 5.5 to 6 pound for the December ship week, it may sell out in this show.
Oh.
I have fewer than 1,500 of the 5.5 to 6 pound roast shipping on December the 4th.
Okay. So
now that's the one that I shipped down to my mom's house for Christmas. That's been the most popular choice by far. That will serve 10 to 12 people, and those are 8-ounce servings.
8-ounce servings.
Could be more than that if they're smaller servings. Could also be great leftovers for the next day, French dip sandwiches, whatever the case, right?
Love it, right.
You can also choose the middle size, which is 4.5 to 5 pounds, feeding 8 to 10 people, or the smallest of the three, which is not small at all, 3.5 pound to 4 pound roast, serving 6 to 8 people.
Right, and that lovely lady we talked to on the previous show, she asked us if she could cut one of the prime ribs in half and then freeze. And the answer was absolutely. And I love the fact that, and she said, what about the netting? And we said, just cut right down the middle, because the netting isn't holding it together. It's just making sure that it cooks evenly.
So the half that you're freezing, make sure the netting stays on there.
Sure. Yep.
The part that you're roasting, the netting stays on there, and you're good to go.
Just good. Sharp
so,
knife.
you know, there are some people who are buying the small roast because they're only cooking for 2 people, and they're like, wow, that little one serves 6 to 8 people. I want to know that I've got 2 roasts then.
Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. If you want to cut your own ribeye steaks out of this roast.
Oh, I love that idea. Love that idea.
That would be delightful.
Oh,
are you kidding?
Look at that decal. Now I'm into decals. Look at that decal right there.
I'm going to have some more decal while you're talking about that.
So everyone see that decal. This is great because, again, this is super trimmed, and we leave just enough fat on that top there that, look at that crust. You would think that I seared this, put butter on it or olive oil. I put nothing on it. It just, when it hits that oven, and that's why that 375 is so important. The degrees, it's just hot enough.
Because you would think it would be like 450 or something. It's not.
No, I love what you just said. Yeah. And 350 or 325, a little too low, right? So I love when this hits that heat, it's caramelizing. And by the way, the medium one, hour and a half. The larger guy, about an hour and 45 minutes. And the smaller one, about an hour.
Well,
that's not
we've
a lot.
got another phone caller. We have Angelique from the great state of Texas, who is here to talk to us about Kansas City prime rib. Angelique, first, welcome to the program. Nice to see you.
Well, it's great to be on here. I've been hoping I could talk to y'all about this prime rib.
Well, here is your day and your opportunity. Chef Ralph and I would love to know, have you tried it before, or is this your first time at it?
I bought it last year for our Christmas dinner. I followed the instructions. I've cooked prime rib many times, but I've always bought it from my butcher. This was the first time I tried this, and it was so good. It was easy. It was so much easier than having to deal with the bones and everything. And because it's boneless, we ate every single bite.
You ate it end
So
to end,
this year
didn't you?
I went up and ordered. I ordered